Well, Happy New Year. It's time to get saucy. Okay, so this is officially a very impromptu podcast relaunch. And I had to call my girl, okay, who is the host of our own show, the Francyne Walker Show. We've known each other for over 30 plus years, and I finally joined the 60 Club. Hey,
Welcome, girl.
thank you very much. And I really wanted to come on here and we have been setting intentions. I know I have definitely been saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I'm trying to ensure in this year to not overthink anything. And if it just hits me, just go with the idea and just see where it flows. But honestly, 2025, Francyne, already kind of broke me of some of my overthinking because I had a lot of plans and thought that I was going to be in a whole nother state right now.
Wait a minute now. If that didn't,
honey,
girl, release all the expectations you thought you had.
Man.
But in the moment it was happening, you didn't realize that you were going to come out on the other side of that.
That is true. That is true. And for those who don't know, I think at the top of 2024, I took a sabbatical and I ended up in Lawrenceville, Georgia. One of our old girls from Detroit, been living in Atlanta area for decades and all the things. And my sabbatical that was going to be a couple of weeks ended up being a little over a year. Mm-hmm. But at the same token, I was coming between Memphis and Atlanta, handling things, still working with Tina Tilton in the radio stations, Buffett 96.3, as well as right on radio 87.7, teaching those Beyond the Pot orientation classes. And then my girl, Angela Green, attorney Angela Green, who is the executive director of On Location Memphis, had like, hey, Christy, do you also want to do and direct one of your films? So I did that. So I was definitely between the two cities. So top of this year, guess what, Francyne? While I thought I was going to take another radio gig in a whole other state, I found myself back in Memphis.
Yeah.
Promoting my short film, The Coffee Shop. And you got a chance to see it. And it's okay now, y'all. We've been on this for a long time, but Francyne has a strong eye for cinema.
I just love movies. And I think it comes from going to the drive-in with my family and watching, and if you are from Detroit and, I'm going to date myself, but it's okay because I look good. Bill Kennedy in the movies on Sundays and Sir Graves Ghastly on Saturdays, watching the scary movies, not as gory as movies are today, but watching the movies with my dad who loved Westerns. And so when I think about my love, and not only that, I think the pandemic, when it had me in the house, because I was scared and I was not trying to check out of here.
What you said?
I was staying safe. So that became my rest, what I mean, and my indulgence, because I couldn't go anywhere. As much as I would love to have been out, it was a scary time, and with the uncertainty of COVID and what it could possibly do and what we saw it doing, I stayed in the house. So movies, and then it was cheaper, to watch a movie versus being out, buying a drink for $20, and being safe. And I just loved movies. I love them now. And,
to the point, ladies and gentlemen, that she has a whole thing. If you follow her on her social medias, specifically Facebook, you can hashtag Franflix, FRANFLIX. Hashtag Franflix, and she be giving thumbs up, thumbs down. She be Siskel and Ebert it all the time.
Oh my goodness!
I appreciate that she did watch my directorial debut, a short film that I did, shot here in Memphis in the fall of 2023, and we debuted it at the Malco Cordova in May of 2025. Girl, can you
Wait
believe
a
it?
minute. Did you guys shoot in 2023?
No, I'm sorry, fall of 2024. Okay.
Or okay.
Yes, the
Okay.
fall of
Okay.
2024. Yeah,
Okay.
because I
Yeah.
was going between Memphis and Atlanta. So yeah,
Yeah.
we filmed it over a 2 or 3 day period. We have been prepping it all of most of 2024 with a production date of 2 or 3 days. Plus, took a couple of months to do edits on it, so it was actually ready for distribution with a kickoff, premiere at one of our regionally owned theaters, Malco, in the Cadova area.
Uh-huh.
Very well attended. I felt so much love, Fran. And I know that you kept saying, I want to be there, I want to be there. And one of the things you did was what?
I chose to interview you so
That's
that
right.
we could really put some love to it because I really wanted to be there. But I did the next best thing was, you know, interview you just to draw some attention to it and show my appreciation for that wonderful accomplishment. Uh,
Yay.
and celebrate something that you had always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, have done before, but this was your pet project. If I could
Yes.
use that lightly, this was an inaugural project that was all yours, not, yes, you did Smile, which was also cool, but this was like major in a movie house.
And plus I had moved I've been writing movies for a long time. Let's kind of
Long time.
a long, long, long time. So number one, like I said, Francyne turned this big 60 last summer.
Yep.
And I just turned the big 60 December 30th. And so 2025 is our 6th decade. And so we are inside of our year of 60.
Yes.
And knowing each other, we're going to take it back, honey. We're going to get real saucy. Honey, let me tell you all one reason why I wanted Francyne, because I have been toying with in 2026, Fran, to just relaunch a lot of podcasts and shows that I've done.
Uh-huh.
Because it's going to all be layered. But one reason why Francyne is the perfect person for us to do the relaunch of Saucy is because as I was prepping for this, I realized we've already done one.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember, what did we talk about?
Honey, probably like now, just rattling on, because this is really a space that I want to utilize where I can be uncut, unfiltered, and really provide commentary on things that we see that are happening in life, and just kind of, one particular who can just be who we are beyond the mics. I'll just say it
Absolutely.
like that.
Absolutely.
But let me say this, but me and Francyne, we have known each other since my Detroit years, which were back in the 1980s. Yeah, honey, we predate the 90s, baby. What you said. So we've seen each other grow and mature into the women that we are since our 20s.
Yeah.
So we have strong opinions. Francyne is my let me say this. There's a movie that we both love, Beaches. Remember Beaches with Bette Midler, and I can't think of the other actress name, but when we watched that movie, I remember just sobbing because we were like, oh my God, that is so us.
Barbara Hershey is
yes. And Francyne has always been that friend from my 20s in Detroit, living without family there. I'll say it like that, not living by myself so much, but just hanging out with friends, learning how to explore myself in the music industry at the time. I had left and dropped out of ORU the first time, went back decades later. But Francyne was like my anchor in Detroit. Like, you were that girl. We went to a church together, but I had grown up church, and Francyne was like, okay, this is nice.
And you know what? I cannot, sidebar, it's like, and I used to feel then in my 20s, it's like I felt out of place in some ways because I was not I hadn't really found I had a voice. I've always spoken up for myself and stood up for myself, but understanding if you didn't preach, if you didn't preach or sing, how about that?
Right. Within
Those
the
are the
church, well, yeah, within the
two
church realm. Yeah.
within the yes, within the church realm, because there was another world outside of that. That I would soon discover. It's like, oh, girl, you good. Um, but not fitting in those two categories. Um, I now realize, girl, you was always, what do they
Mm.
call it now? You were always who you were.
Yes.
You were always who you thought you were gonna be, and you know what I'm saying, in the sense. So, yeah, I do appreciate. While I didn't grow up, I'm glad I came at the time I did, which was like right in my 20s, my
Yeah.
early 20s, like
Yeah.
20, directly right after my dad died in 86, and I was
Mm.
in pain. So I was seeking refuge. Um, and thankfully found some sort of refuge, I think, through people, but I didn't get caught up in the church way of things. And I'm not this is no disregard to any ministry or anything like that, but you know how you just look back and say, yeah, that worked out. You know what I mean? It worked out, you know.
Even hearing you talk about that is taking me back to when I moved to Detroit and we met each other at a beauty shop.
Yep. Oh
you
yeah.
you were friends with the owner's daughter.
Yeah. My
And
girlfriend, who's still my friend to this day.
and me sure to tell her, I say, hey, happy new year and what's up.
Yeah. Yeah.
um and we became fast friends, and thereby I ended up going to the church that you all were a member of. I came out of the Church of God in Christ. Now,
Right.
let me just say this. I was Baptist growing up, Church of God in Christ when my mom did, and then I went to a Christian university, charismatic. So when I moved to Detroit, you know, honestly, the Church of God in Christ still does have a very strong presence, of course, the Clark sisters and all like that, Maddie Moss Clark. But when I met you all, I started going to you all's church, which was part of the Pentecostal Assemblies of the World, PAW.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was big into the wine-ins and commissioned and, all those, gospel groups that were not Kojic specifically. So you all introduced me into a whole nother branch of what I would say Christendom, Pentecostalism, as a result of just musical alliances. I grown up Kojic, a big part of my life, but, being part of the PAW, or the Pentecostal Assemblies of the World, and being around musicians who were not Kojic, it broadened my view. But when we met, you actually, Francyne, and I think but I don't think because I had grown up in church and that's all I knew. You were like my first friend who was in church but not over churched and had a broader world view. You had a good job.
Yeah.
You had a good job early in your 20s, and you were on a path that was a little more sleek and polished.
Absolutely. And it's so funny that you mentioned that about the whole, I could almost say, I could almost flip that whole scripture. It's like, yes, I was in church, but I had not brought fully into the PAW. It didn't, I just hadn't bought into it, lock, stock, and barrel, and let me always say this, because my relationship, even when I first got saved, was I'm married to Jesus.
Come on now.
I was about relationship first. Whatever church I found myself in, because eventually I would leave that church and eventually leave, so I had and not so much left on bad terms, but I left due to growth.
Yes.
More than mess. I never left a church messy. It might have been messy when I left, but I didn't leave messy. You know what I'm saying?
Mess may have been happening, but we weren't part of the mess.
I wasn't part of the mess. But because, like you said, I was not over churched, and I had a certain amount of discernment. I could see a lot of that. I could navigate a lot of those personalities that would utilize church for their gain. Yeah, so that's that. When I think about, gosh, I'm so glad you said it. When I think about that now, I think how, man, girl,
God saved us from a knot. And I have to say this because people who know me know that my entire life, career, has always been adjacent or deeply steeped in church.
Yeah.
And even my radio career, 95% of my career was in the gospel music industry and, all of that. So my personal evolution, and I know God, and this is a very interesting way we're kicking off 2026, but I speak to the faith because 6 decades, God has been gracious. God has been good. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for our friendship to have been able to, have the longevity that it's had and the honesty and that we've evolved together. But I do know when I pinpoint my own spiritual evolution, it is because God plopped you in my life.
Yes.
And yeah, I know that to be true because you started showing me, I started seeing, I should say, the way that you were very clear on your relationship with God was not contingent on church alliances. And I had been steeped in a lot of religious organizations that made your relationship with God synonymous with church membership.
Yes.
And when you begin to just speak about your faith in such a bold way, it was very life affirming. Of course, I had gone to a Christian school.
Yes.
But I had never seen up close and personal someone who had faith in God the way you did, who was not religious, who didn't buy into the dogma, who did not buy into the cultism that sometimes is that we are plagued with in church. But with that being said,
so here we are.
Here we are. And one of the things that I remember, because I think I saw you and because I did know what now people call church hurt, that is the psychological term or the, whatever people, church hurt. When I did see early on, when you first came and you were getting involved in ministry and people were starting to do that piranha effect, particularly, there was one phrase, and I think this is, girl, we're gonna have to talk about something that's in the news right now that we're talking about, fitting in. I'll just say it like that. Was the fact that if you spoke to something that you felt in your heart or in your spirit, someone would say, I don't see you that way. That is, to me, the very first time that I felt I wanted to defend someone, because they were beginning to do that, what I call limiting people. And because God was putting me on my own path of finding my individuality within my faith. And when I saw that they were doing what had been done to thousands upon thousands of basically clipping the wings of people who had come into the church to find solace, to find freedom, to find faith. And here it was, that phrase, I don't see you like that. Whatever God had put in your spirit, they didn't agree. They didn't see
you. Know what? You're right. But I have to say, knowing now what I know, that was bred in them.
Correct.
Source.
Correct.
It was like they were mirroring something that had been done to them.
And so that is what I wanted to fight them on, because it had been done to them. It had been done to me. It had been done to many of people I had seen growing up in church when they came in fresh, bright, God's speaking, God's lifting, and then they start clipping the wings, plucking the wings, basically diminishing the person so they can fit within the the container, the image, the world, the culture that they had created. And
Yeah.
I hated that because I know how it felt to be crushed in your spirit by someone else's opinions. And I was like, oh no, because you're like I said, you were my new friend. You were all bubbly. You were wearing loud prints. You know, you was and to this day.
It's like, oh my God, the cast had been set. But you're absolutely right. And here's the thing. I was just testing stuff out. You know what I mean? So when somebody says, it's like, I probably won't see myself that way a week from now or a year from now. I tried it, you know, but when you say that, it reminds me, it's like, God, people have been trying to do that all my life.
Okay, can we rush to in our mid-20s once we learned how to start dating? And we one of the things Francyne knew a guy wasn't for her was when they did or said what?
How tall are you?
That was automatic.
Literally ask me two things. How tall are you? And then would literally ask me to take my shoes off but this was only people that were shorter, that were not taller than me. Because I have never been asked by a basketball player, and we won't say his name, out of respect for his wife. But he didn't ask me how tall I was.
He didn't ask you to take your shoes off.
He asked to take my shoes off. He didn't say, do people think you're bougie? He didn't, none of those. You know how they say, Chris, you know if somebody is for you within the first 5 minutes.
Yes.
That's how you know. It's like, oh my God, that's a trigger. And I now understand. And it's something that applies now. Like if y'all want the aunties to teach you, this is how you know somebody is feeling insecure in your presence. Ooh. They will either say something that's backhanded, which we call negging, or they will give you a backhanded compliment.
Oh my God. And you know, I had plenty of those because with my pursuit early on of radio, and I was practicing how to speak, you know, trying to break my Southern, you know, tone and try to speak more what I call industry.
Yes.
And, you know, two things, even when I was around, it's like, you sound good for a Black girl or you sound white.
Girl.
And just those type of things are, like you said, trying to make you, I call it making you into their own image.
Yes.
Cutting you down to size, whittling you down. And the thing is like, particularly if it was a guy who was interested, you know, and I'm speaking of this, like you said, if you want the aunties to tell y'all the truth, now this, we're going to get saucy. I can feel it. I feel us, you know, we kind of dancing around it. Happy New Year once again, everybody. But let me tell you, at 60, look, I am embracing it. I'm 48 hours in. Honey, you got to know from the first 60 seconds if they are going to build you up or tear you down. And that could be friend or foe, lover or friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta quickly discern, and you talked about that discernment. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I want to jump to something. I'm going to get saucy because we kind of talking about it, but we ain't talking about it. But let me tell you something that I saw on your page that kind of really fits into this. Can we say the Bryants?
The Bryants.
All right. Now like I said,
which one first? Which one we gonna talk about first?
Oh, but let me go this way. Okay, I'm gonna be straight no chaser. Like I say, I grew up in church. Church is what I know. Some folk know the streets. Some folk know the club environment. I know church. When I tell you church, my mama had My mom used to pray out and birth out churches, and oftentimes the preachers would give her the key to the church. So that, those missionaries that would open up the church, pray it out, start Sunday school. That was my mama, and we were her kids, and we was there when she opened the door. So when I tell you I know church, I know from the rooter to the tutor. I know it from the small church. They got one member, and that be the pastor because his wife wasn't coming, all the way to the mega ministries with TVs broadcasting worldwide. So ain't a part of church I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So when one of the Bryants, the Dr. Jamal Bryant, I'm going to go and bring it out. We're talking about the Bryants, the ATL Bryants. When decades ago, when he had his scandal from his first wife. And of course, we were definitely still in a deep judgment mode on all these young preachers who were having, I would say, who were openly divorcing their wives, because we do know, I will say, growing up in church, we knew that the things were happening, but nobody left, and they would die and be the husband of one wife. But the chuckles would be, but how many mistresses and girlfriends? Okay, he was he was a husband of one wife, but how many mistresses and girlfriends? But when Jamal was part of that generation that started, after, as to his own testimony, spoke to his unfaithfulness, and he ended up getting divorced. And then after Bishop Eddie Long, and we won't dive into that story, ended up taking over New Birth. I really hadn't been up on him. You know what I'm saying? I had actually weaned myself from being deeply invested in church culture. Howsoever, I got to tell you, in the last couple of years, when I saw his involvement, particularly in Atlanta, because I guess it's in the South, and I'm paying more close attention to what's happening regionally, and I started seeing how involved he was in what I call social gospel. I love a Black Baptist preacher, Kojic preacher, Presbyterian preacher, anybody that is for the culture, who is in these streets doing the work from a social economic status. So I was like, okay. And he still hadn't remarried, but I'm like, he out here doing God's work. Now, to me, that's God's work. Okay. Preaching is a gift, a talent, and skill. A lot of people can do it, but to get out here and do community-based work, to me, that's truly God's work. So I started, from my own perspective, cutting through the chase, observing him through that lens. Then, of course, most recently, I think through you.
Yep.
I started, of course, I know he had dated a couple of people, some high profile actresses, that would kind of break through. And I'm just like, at least he dating women. Okay. All I'm going to say, I was glad he was dating women. Anyway, so let's get saucy with it. Let's get real saucy. And I am, for the record, I am a part of a very, how should I say this? I'm not a member of the Rainbow Coalition, but I am definitely an ally, meaning I do believe in the liberalism when it comes to social justice. And I don't think that as a Black person, as a Christian, that I have any right to demonize and definitely not vilify anybody. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, you started posting about this very attractive woman, and I didn't realize where she was in the world, but honey, she was preaching and looking cute. The new church ladies, you know what I'm saying? The new preachers and evangelists that are, dressed to the nines. And Dr. Karri.
Dr. Karri, baby.
Dr. Karri Turner. And of course, on her Instagram, I'm like, Dr. Karri, baby.
Yeah, you know what that's behind. It's Miss Karri, baby, from, what's her name? Carrie Hilson, one of her songs. Miss Karri, baby. That's where she gets there.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know the song right now, but it that's where it comes from. So, but that also speaks to her. Just, first of all, that there has always been a time, and and we won't go into that right now, but I don't have a problem walking up to a woman or women that
You got it going on.
and say, you know what, and I'm not going to necessarily say, teach me your ways. I might just breathe their air for a minute and I get what I need. You know what I mean?
We can talk about it. We were in our 20s walking through Northland Mall, saw this very pulled together white woman, and we were like, who is that? And we were early 20s. And as a result of our compliment, we ended up in a boardroom eating lunch.
Yep.
It was a Dillard's?
Oh, it was Hudson's.
Hudson's.
Maybe it was Hudson's at the time.
Hudson's.
It was still Hudson's. It was amazing.
Because and her name was
Carol Silvestro.
And we was like, oh my God. And I think if I remember correctly, we were kind of breezing through the fragrance and, department. And she was walking through. Okay. To me, when I see her, I always thought about Devil Wears Prada, Meryl Streep.
It's a little bit more approachable.
But more approachable. But she was definitely giving, I know who I am. I'm in my power. And we like, oh my God, two little black girls. Well, I ain't gonna say two little black girls. Two young ladies approached her and found out she was like over the whole department, over the whole.
Yeah, I just vice president of Hudson's.
She was the VP, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason I'm bringing that up because you said how you definitely led that way because I used to be so in my shell, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, I like your hair. Oh my God, I like your dress." It's like you, and you're like, we perfect strangers, and it's like, oh, okay, we can actually speak to people, And so hanging with you, we saw her, and we were like, and you did your magic, and next thing you know, we were invited. And I think you ended up years later talking to her again.
She actually did a pivot, reinventing herself, and opened a high-end resale shop and called Bellagio's. And they're no longer open, but they were for a while, where they would take, the fine things and probably from folks cleaning out, all the high-end folks from whether it was Birmingham or Grosse Pointe, or Commerce or Bloomfield. They would take all those things that women would bring in and resell them. So, but they set up this beautiful store. So it was like walking into a department store, which goes back to her roots as the VP at Hudson's. But yeah, that was the last time I saw her. And that might have been maybe about 10, 15 years ago.
And the thing is, she remembered you. And I think she really admired how we approached her to the point that she invited us to lunch in the boardroom at Hudson's on the top floor. I just remember like, oh my God, paying a person a compliment can lead to great things.
Yeah.
And
yes,
it did.
Yeah.
And that circles back around to the Bryants, particularly Dr. Karri, is because growing up in church, once again, like I said, you yourself, we have all been subject to being policed, women in church being policed.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember before I knew she was dating Dr. Jamal, is that I saw, because like I said, you were sharing a lot of her stuff on Instagram, all like that. And there was this one clip, she was on a panel, one of those panels talking about relationships. I halfway look because, I got my own views about relationships and stuff. But what she was speaking to was so powerful, where she basically, it's like, I'm not going to play second fiddle. That she was and she preached just that. I like your word, advocacy, self-advocacy, understanding who you are, your value, what you are bringing to the world, not just to a table. Of course, I hate that phrase. What you bring to the table? Nothing. Baby, me. Okay. Anyway, but who and what you are and you're engaging in the world. So tell me, how did you get connected to her? Because I really want to talk about this most getting real saucy with it, Bishop Jamal Bryant just on, I think yesterday, watch meeting service or whatever services, he had to set the record straight on something. But how did you get connected to her? What was her appeal to you?
She liked Prince and big hair.
Staying true to form. Okay.
So, I always gravitate towards, I love women. They said, who said that? Eleanor Roosevelt. Well-behaved women never make history.
Yeah.
So I love women that color outside the lines. You know what I mean?
And especially if they're wearing Prince and big hair.
So, I already said 2026, I'm going to see Diana Ross. I have loved Diana Ross forever,
and she just performed.
In New York at Times Square for the Dick Clark show, but Rockin' Eve show. But I can't remember, I'm part of pop culture and stuff comes through, and I don't know, algorithm. Just like you, I knew of Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant. I know of his ex-wife, and they do favor him and Karri and Giselle. But
now, see, that I got to look the lady up again.
How did I come across her? I can't remember. Just I remember
using your algorithm. Okay, Francyne gonna have advocacy, clothes, fashion.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, but I think it was, I don't know.
Faith and fashion.
About it. Yeah, but I just remember this phenomenal graphic Poochie jumpsuit she had on with this little beret. She just,
I do remember that.
I can't remember how it came up in my feed. But I think at the time, I know what it was. She had just got engaged.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I had posted. I had posted that she was engaged to Pastor Bryant. And I noticed, God, they kind of favor, but not really.
He has a type, honey. Have your type, honey.
And that's okay, because you can have a type.
Please, because I want the one that I'm his type. Hush.
Yeah, listen, you want your type, and we can have a type. So, women can have types.
Yes, we do.
Cool. But I just remember. So since then, since the engagement, and now, I mean, it was a quick engagement and quick marriage. Not that I won't say it was quick as far as from the relationship, but she did know how to maneuver him and move him in ways that, okay, you've met your match.
Which is interesting because honestly, I think probably because you were posting about her, and I had seen a couple of clips where she was, and I was like, that's the same lady, because I do follow Lexi Allen. Of course, we both know Lexi from back in the day in Detroit. And of course, Lexi is very aligned with quite a few, very fashion forward Christian gospel singer.
I didn't know her through Lexi. I didn't
that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that to say that when I saw her and I was like, oh, okay, this is like, I was putting the pieces together of there's a new crop, a new vanguard of fashion forward Christian women or gospel women or women in ministry who, Oh God, something that Dr. Jamal Bryant said in his sermon yesterday had me chuckling because he basically said, I ain't gonna get to it, but they are different than the women, the evangelists, and the first ladies of our time. I'll just say it like that. They were, those very modest, very, now I grew up Kojic, so there were some sparkly hats and glittery shoes and, I'm like dressed to the nines, but it wasn't fashion forward. It was very much Kojic style, to this day, even the Holy Convocation that come to Memphis or St. Louis. I mean, Kojic has a fashion sense. But runway style, Vogue cover church ladies. No, that was nothing I had ever seen. So when I started seeing her, I was like, wow, she's very fashionable and preaching hard, and praying hard, and then realized she was a part of New Birth. And I was like, oh, okay. So I started doing my own little research, and especially after you posted that she had gotten engaged, and I was like, okay, they match.
They do.
They match, and I'm all about body language. I be paying attention to the eyes, the hands. If you're touching each other, I mean, there's some other preachers, high profile. They got beautiful women that they don't be touching anyway. But I will say that once I saw that they had gotten married, and around the time I think his mom had passed, or right before, and I was like, oh wow, he has really grown, because as I said, I knew him from a distance, had respect for his social justice and social gospel leanings, and now he had this very attractive, fiery preacher who was well educated, and I was like, okay, that matches. And having been in Atlanta last year, I really saw the energy. It's just like when I used to live in Detroit. There is an energy in every city. And if you want to rise, cream always rises to the top, but you definitely got to be able to match the energy and the vibration and the flow of a city. And so I just was like, yeah, they match. Yeah. And she's already working in his ministry, so that's appropriate. If there was attraction, you know what I'm saying? That happens. But fast forward to this time, because like I said, I observe them, admire them, I click on certain things. But baby, when you posted something this past week, you pulled me back into their storyline.
Well, I mean,
okay, so let's talk about what you posted that got me jumping all saucy, because I got to get real saucy in 2026. I got to talk about it. It's time for my commentary on what be going on in this here church world, these social media streets. So what did you post?
I posted Dr. Karri, because I'm going to give the woman with a PhD the props. Because y'all want to relegate her to the first lady, and she is more than that.
Yes.
And no disregard to first ladies, because I have sat under some beautiful, and not beautiful gowns, first ladies, but folk doing the work.
Yes.
But so let me say this. I posted. Apparently there was a hoopla about the gown that she wore to the fundraiser for HBCUs, right? HBCUs.
Yes. I think it was a United Negro College Fund.
Yes. Yes, that she went to
with her
husband. Who saw her with the dress on.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, let me back up. Let me say something real quick. I do remember too when they've had some and I love when she's on his podcast, because I've even started paying closer attention to his podcast. I just love the most recent one, and I got to watch the full thing with him and his daughters. I like when I see him engage with people he knows and loves. So that's something that I found very amusing. But I remember they had to have a whole conversation about what she did for her wedding and her outfits for that. And I was kind of taken aback, because like I said, she's been on the social media scenes, on Instagram, in her life as a high fashion woman, probably for decades. So I was kind of taken aback. So you might help me, as someone who, I got high fashion friends like you. How people upset the way she dresses? And she's been doing this for decades. She ain't new to this. She true to this.
Well, first let me say this. I stand Dr. Karri. So I'm going to start there. And two things. I stand her. So it's like you probably going to just be talking to a brick wall, trying to convince me anything was wrong with the dress, which is what people were saying in my comments. And I was a brick wall with that. But two, again, you said it earlier, I was never over churched. And because
Right.
I had a discernment, you know, and understanding and experience with people who were limited and wanted you to be limited and live in a limited way
Mm.
as it relates to life experiences, uh, revolving your sexuality,
Ooh.
all of those things. See,
Come on, Saucy. You getting real saucy up in here.
that's what I'm hearing when I hear the patriarchal points where it's not appropriate. Um, and let me say this: first of all, her body is tea, as they say. Her body is tea.
Wait a minute. Her body is what?
Tea. Her
Now,
body is
Francyne has to always keep me up on the trends, ladies and gentlemen, because this is one time I feel like we're Gail and Oprah. Like Gail keeps up with everything that's going on in the world, and Oprah be like, "What happened?"
her body is tea. That's short. That basically means she a brick house. I
Yeah.
mean, she is a curvaceous woman.
Yeah, she's very
And
attractive. Mm-hmm.
she has always, saints, and y'all remember Dr. Karri, because this is who Dr. Karri has never hid her shape.
No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't.
From if you go back to
I gotta make you laugh.
pictures.
First of all, I gotta make you laugh because this is taking me back to the 80s and the early 90s because Francyne used to wear what they call back then on your body dresses.
Thanks.
And the guys be like, you got one of them on your body dresses. And I was like, on your body dress? I did not, because I was so, my God, I was so out of it. But I was like, oh, it's hugging the curves of the body. That's why it's on your body. I'm thinking all clothes are on your body.
Yeah, it was a fitted, yeah. But
yeah,
that the infamous dress that probably drew much attention was a black insert, and was it red and black or black and red? Red and black. Anyway, it was a black insert and the outsides were red, and it gave my body, because I'm not the most curviest. Well, maybe I was in my 20s. Probably more so. It wasn't the most curviest dress. I mean, it was curvy, but the way it was made, it made
accented your dress. Yeah, it accented it.
Right.
Yeah, it sure was a red and black dress that was on your body, covering everything. Because let me insert, I grew up old school coaches. Let me say old school, honey, where in PAW too, between them two, where you could put a dolly on, long sleeves, pantyhose, closed toe, no lipstick, maybe a little makeup. It's just enough to cover your blemishes. But honey, holy, come on now. Yeah. Can you wear white?
Praise God. I didn't know. Praise God. I was not of that kind. Oh
my God.
I don't think I never got
one. Wait a minute. I got to make you laugh, Francyne. And even when I moved to Detroit and y'all were wearing flesh tone pantyhose, not them opaques. Come on now.
Girl, child, listen, from Winkleman's. Anyway, but she's always been that way. Now, let me say this.
Yeah.
Her dress,
which was gorgeous, by the way. Which
it is gorgeous. It is not. Now, I would not wear. I've never necessarily liked that kind of illusion, because it reminds me of my bras.
Wait, let me say this based on what I observed, because maybe once again, you're a fashionista, and I see a lot of saints of the day who are haute couture. Am I saying it right? Haute couture.
Yes.
Who are definitely dressing from the runways. They got the money, they can afford it, or they got designers who are designing things for them. And this was definitely a high fashion dress that looked like, to me, a black flower, like the way it was, off her shoulder. It was like some petals or something around her cleavage area. And it was like a mermaid dress. To me, it looked like a mermaid dress that had spider webs on it. I guess that's the way I saw it. It was not a fishnet dress, but definitely the design gave the illusion of highlighting certain portions of the body. But it was fully full-length dress with it was like a mermaid dress to me, but it was black netting with what is it called? Flesh tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the bra, I mean, it looks like the inset of my bra. You know, I have a black bra with that same.
Which is like it's like lace. Yeah.
It's a lace over nude, you know, except it is not my color nude because I'm brown. But it's a nude.
Or her skin tone.
But her skin tone. But I don't, I'll say it like this. So what?
Here's the thing.
Arguments. So what?
When I saw your post, I honestly, because you've posted them before, I was like, oh, that's cute because they match. He's a very stylish dresser. First of all, he's a very stylish, bold dresser himself.
He's a bold dresser.
And his daughters on his most recent podcast was even chiding him about that, laughing at him about some of his outfits. So it was very interesting because they match. They match aesthetically, their height, everything about them. So when I saw the dress and I saw you post it, I didn't realize until I saw one or two comments that it was like she's being checked for what she has on. And I was like, well, some of the design does act, give attention to, but I then saw your comment and you said somebody and then I started seeing to date on my thread and even yesterday, people in the church were like, y'all got whole dissertations about a dress. And I'm like, what's going on? Because, I be unplugged. And then I started seeing the video circulating from Pastor Dr. Jamal Bryant in defense of his wife, baby.
I mean,
whoo. I was like, well, there's your what they call it? What they used to call those? Watch meeting sermons.
Yeah. I mean, I said that in the comment, in my caption. I mean, he liked it. He didn't tell her to change, and then some of the saints wanted to argue or pose a point, not post literally, but pose a point. Well, what's your point? It's like, I mean, that's her husband. That's my point. That's her husband.
I wish I could play, but they can go find it themselves, honey. He got it on his own Instagram at this point. It's not the full, because some people got a fuller clip of it where he basically starts off watch meeting sermon service with and sermon with a let me face this head off.
And here's the thing. Now, let me say this. I know, yes, there are some people, there are a number of perspectives that are going to still come from, I think, because they stem from a patriarchal talking point.
Ooh.
If we want to get deep, it's like, oh, she turned the male gaze on its head. I mean,
but something to this point, to me, okay, let me go on and put myself in here. Let me get saucy. Most of the people who I think have issues with it are women. And that is one of the things that has been challenging for me, even navigating social media. You took to it. I'll never forget. I forced you to get on Facebook, and next thing I know, you act like you owned it. Okay. And had high engagement, followers out. But I have always, and my personality, my true personality. Yes, I'm a radio personality that has became known, but me, Christie, not Christie Taylor, but just Christie, I tried to stay out of all of that because it makes me nervous and all like that, unsettled. But I have never enjoyed the trolls. And the first time Facebook a decade ago allowed you to mute people and all that, I took full advantage because I didn't want to get hit with no more pillows. And people starting to poke again. I'm like, when did poking come back? But anyway, and I've never, and when people are mean in the comments, I just delete them.
That's what you have to do.
I don't ever engage. And I remember I would post things when I was in my newsy stage before the first Trump election, when it got just crazy and all. Now we know the social media platforms were in cahoots, but if people were mean spirited on, if I posted something and people would get good discourse about it, I never engaged. I just would post it for news. And I'll never forget, Francyne, that someone got in the thread and was being extremely, and this is the early times of people being, what y'all call them now? When the keyboard bandits or whatever, I'll be saying keyboard war. And I literally, that was the one time I got in a thread and said, don't do this on my page.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, we have open discussions over here. I post the news I want to discuss. And if you don't want to, unfollow me now. And after that, that's when I started like, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be very, because everyone doesn't want free discourse. Everyone doesn't want to just get information, observe, scroll on. They want to jump in and be, be mean. And I noticed that over the last 5 years, is 6 maybe, that women have become the leaders of that mean girl pack online. And it has shocked me, and it's unnerving. And I think the first time I saw it was the young lady who was in the Olympics, was it Gabby? This girl doing somersaults and folk talking about her hair.
But can we? But I think if you want to talk about the women, they get it from the men. To be honest, it is a level of competition.
Now I don't. There's this one guy you used to be upset about. I don't even like to speak his name. May he rest wherever he's resting. The Samuels guy.
Mm-hmm.
That was such a vitriol time that I really unplugged from social media a lot when that was at its heyday. And it was really breeding a hatred, like a vitriol I had never, ever seen.
But I don't really, based on the comments on my post, it wasn't so much a trolling as it was a judgmental. It wasn't trolling.
Well, what's the difference? Maybe you can just educate me on the difference between trolling and judgment.
I mean, because it's engagement. It's all engagement. It's just a degree. Like there are trolls, for example. A troll.
Now, is 50 Cent a bona fide troll?
Yes, but I don't want to talk about him.
Okay. He's funny to me.
Yeah, I guess. Now he's vitriolic, but yeah, see how? But he trolls everybody, including Diddy. In that was a troll project. It's like, I'm gonna fix you, Well,
and maybe that's what. Okay, so a troll is, now Francyne, she is a social media manager, ladies and gentlemen. So if you need, she's okay. Let me just say that. Let me correct that. She has a master's degree in media and communication on a level that is next level. Like, she studies the stuff, so she understands. So oftentimes she really does have to teach me the ways of online activity. Her and our other friend, DJ Jordan Ivory. Many people, y'all know her from her high level affirmations, Jay Ivory. But anyway, I say all that to say, so trolling is basically someone who's being vindictive.
Maybe. Okay, I'll tell you what a troll. Now, sometimes I troll.
Francyne!
When I see people coming for Michelle Obama, and calling her Michael in the comments for kicks, I'll say, and you all look like Quasimodo.
So it is a level of vindictiveness to it. It's I'm gonna get you back. It's a back in the day.
I don't know.
It's a lick. It's like getting a lick back. It's like you getting a lick back in the day. Okay, I don't know. I know I'm trolling.
They're trolling, and I'm countering the troll. It's like I'm countering, like I see a lot of hate from Megan, and it's
I love Megan.
I see a lot of comments like, "Oh God, she is again," and it's like, and I might say, black girl magic.
See? and I guess what I do is I just go on to Netflix and binge watch whatever she's putting out, because that's oh my God.
But for kicks, it's like it's better than doom scrolling. It's like,
that's hilarious.
But it's just a wittiness, like, where I see that kind of interaction where it's like she's not black, it's like her mama is, where
that is the weirdest thing to me. Y'all gonna claim Halle Berry and Mariah Carey, but we can't claim Megan.
Yeah, because she's married to a white man prince.
Listen to what I'm saying.
I'm listening, but she's married to a white man prince.
But they had her non-black before then. But check this out.
They did.
Megan's mama is black.
That.
Listen, Megan's mama is black.
I know.
Mariah and Halle daddy was black. How? What? Anyway, okay.
Because she is a black woman.
That
is in that didn't have
that gets me. That gets me. Yeah, that gets me on a lot of different levels. That's when I turn off whatever y'all saying, because it's like that's ignorance is such a high decibel. I can't even hear it anymore.
That was 2025.
Oh Jesus!
In its entirety.
But can I tell you something? I want to go back to Dr. Jamal and Dr. Karri. That whole incident really made me feel, once I understood the context of that picture and what was being said, and now his subsequent sermon, it gave me Devon Franklin and Megan Good. I was like, oh, that really reminded me of the vitriol and the hate and the fact that, thank God she's since, honey, both of them have gone on and, found love again. And I like the one she's loving. But I really, and I know you got things on that, but I like the fact that women are starting to post a lot of the bitterness that was happening in Black love. I'll just say that there is now, I'm going to say the 92% and the 86% are finding ways within this crazy society to love and find each other and defend each other as which is our divine right. Now I'm going to take it back to God. Honey, God wants us to love. And now, of course, I have a broader view of love and commitment than just marital, companionship. But whoever you're down for, what they be saying, 10 toes down. We need to be 10 toes down in this here year. I love how we have collectively, through the Spirit, got quiet in 2025. I like jokingly that there are people who are like, nobody's coming to the nobody's coming to the picnic and to the cookout. We have to become gatekeepers of our souls, our minds, our world, our relationships. And it starts with the people that's in your immediate vicinity, like my friendships or your family or who you're married to. Like we need to be 10 toes down and not allow.
Hello.
Yeah. But they could put their mouth on you. Okay, of course, a lot of people don't even understand what that means. When you allow the words of others to start, because you and I are both wordsmiths. We understand the power of language, of syllables, of alphabets, and how when those things come together, they create realities. And when we give people insight into our worlds, whether that's your personal life, your relationships, your professional aspirations in business, and they start putting their alphabets together, speaking on your life, you're allowing them to create realities for you. Particularly if that word takes like a seed, germinates in your mind and in your soul.
Yeah.
And we have to be more vigilant. And I cried, actually. I mean, I cried from an emotional place when I saw him defending his wife on that pulpit, and the look she had as a Black woman in America, in Atlanta, at a mega ministry with a global reach, being defended by a Black man in his pulpit. It really did my soul good because I have seen so many throughout my decades, and I'm thank God for 60 years, that were not defended.
Yeah.
Who were torn to shreds, and their husbands or the men in their life did not come to their rescue. There's, I don't know, I don't know if you posted it. Does Kim Woodley have a podcast now?
I don't. I see it in. I haven't tuned all the way in. It's something new.
Think I saw a clip that actually kind of is in this vein, and it was, I don't know who these preachers are. I mean, of course I know Dietrich Haddon and I know Noel Jones, but this is one lady. She was on there, and I can't remember her name right now, but the question that was being asked is, why do people be all in their business? Like, why do members of churches and congregations be, in the first family's business? And this woman, this I wish I knew her name. This first lady, apparently she's a preacher's wife, pastor's wife. She said, because church people don't have boundaries. And she went into the more egregious oversight that they want to know when you're having sex, how often you're doing it, when you're doing it, do you have sex before you got married, all of that. And I was like, I remember how intrusive that was. And I ended up, just after reading the comments, I'm like, well, the biggest reason is because church people and this country literally believe that women's bodies belong to them.
Yeah, that's why people are shocked. So many people aren't having orgasms because y'all told them they didn't need to.
I wasn't ready.
That's why if y'all was having orgasms, you wouldn't care about Karri's dress. If y'all was having sex, you wouldn't care. Like let's bring it back. It's like it's jealousy, like he said. It is.
Oh God.
Sometimes we just too nice. Sometimes pretty girls are just too nice. It's jealousy. Body, like I said, body is tea. And it's like, haven't you ever had somebody fawn over you?
Well, he did say that he bought the dress, and he said he want to be able to run home and say, shake it. What's that song? Shake what your mama gave you. Something. Shake it fast. Watch yourself. Yeah, he's look. Let the man, girl. I can't wait for y'all to hear this clip, because that man said y'all can get these first ladies that look like Little House on the Prairie.
But
honey, oh God! But you said if they had more orgasms, they would not. Let me tell you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The ownership of women's bodies, the policing of women's bodies. I mean,
we had a whole election built on that.
Crown Act. You couldn't even wear your own hair to work. So please, I'm always going to come from a vein of stop policing our bodies, stop policing our voices, our hair. Stop policing us. You just said.
I remember when you said you didn't even like guys say smile, and I was like, why, Francyne?
Because I don't have to. Who are you to tell me what to do with my body, including my tongue, lips, teeth, and tongue? What I could be in a whole vein of thought or not. And you don't tell me to smile. But I know I'm a little bit more extreme when it comes to
yes, you are. Because when you said that, I was like,
no, because
I get it. I totally get it, because the entry point to controlling of another can be even in what we call in workspaces microaggression.
It starts there. It starts with it's actually a form of grooming, where if I could tell her to smile, then I could tell her, see, you're looking at somebody at 14. My boyfriend said, if you don't change your hair and wear it this way, we're breaking up.
Yeah.
And we broke up.
You have been a rebel. This is why I love her, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I love Francyne Walker.
In high school for not having sex. I was bullied by the man the young man and his friends. I'm like, well, why y'all the minions? Y'all wasn't getting none either. But you mad for him? He literally, I said, y'all dumb. You know, I was bullied in high school for not wanting to have.
Well, first of all, for not changing your hair, and then for not having sex.
And they had the same name. Two different guys, same name. So,
oh Lord.
Yeah. So it's
and then years later, being low key aggressive, like smile and take your shoes off to see. Oh God, the domination. But ladies and gentlemen, I know this is our New Year's chat. Me and my girl, Francyne Walker, host of the Francyne Walker Show. I can't wait to see how you're gonna do the new season of 2026.
Oh my God,
it's gonna be a spring or a summer. You know, hopefully it'll be a spring.
Yes.
And I definitely want to come back. I want to come back on the show. And I got some things I'm about to get into, honey. I'm setting my intention so strong. I have, honey, journaled real strong this morning on this first day of January. Yeah, but when I saw that the saints was all in the with the videos and the pastor done preached about his wife, he can't even do his night watch. He can't encourage the saints to go into 2026 without us. I said, Lord, he had to write it down. I said, because I think Dr. Jamal Bryant would have cussed the saints out last night if he hadn't written that sermon down. Because he was like, don't y'all mess with my wife. He said, y'all can talk about me, but don't y'all need to go look at the clip.
Well, one of the comments that on my post was, well, you know, he's about flash first and the gospel and everything third. I said, well, I guess he's met his match. Because in closing, the first close, in closing,
that's right.
You know what I mean? The thing is this: the kind of man he is the kind of man she needed, because everybody, yes, he is a flashy dresser. Yes, he loves to dress. He does it well. I have such a respect for him because his sister, Dr. Thema, was on his podcast, and she said the one time I was scared was when I was assaulted, and I shared that with you, and you were about to go over there and blow his brains out. I called you and said, don't do that.
Oh, wow.
Don't do that. So he's about advocating, and he is about protection. I can't speak to what he did before, but guess what? The road to Damascus, baby. If y'all
come on now, redemption. That's right.
Y'all want to talk about scripture, talk about Saul and Paul. Okay. Anyway, but
she gonna let y'all know she know a little Bible.
A little bit. But I feel like in my spirit, it's like y'all sound a little jealous of this woman, and it's coming off in a judgy way, and I don't like that. I appreciate the perspective, but we're going to respectfully disagree, because somebody was like, I still love you. I still love you. I just don't agree with you. I don't agree with I don't agree with the comments. And I'm not saying everybody is jealous. Some people are legitimately like, that's not holiness, but
woo, child, you know that
too in the clip. He addressed
yeah, he did.
The barometer of holiness.
That's right. And it's all false. It's
Isn't
false.
he Baptist? Isn't he? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. New Birth is. Yeah, but they're based in Baptist, but still Pentecostalism, charismatic. Yeah, all of that. Exactly. But I want to say this. That takes me back to that other clip that I really wish. And like I said, I don't know. I think it's Kim Willie and whoever this first lady is. And then when she talked about church, people didn't have boundaries and they want to know basically very intimate things. One thing she said, when I'm at church, I'm a public servant.
Yeah.
She said, but when I get home, it's like that's when it's off limits. And I think that's where the Black church, I can't speak to nobody else's church right now, because honey, we need to just work on us. The Black church has to mature in our discussing body autonomy. We have to really embrace mental and spiritual integrity. and stop
Mm-hmm.
using the gospel of freedom to enslave people and manipulate
Oh,
people.
now that's good.
And I look forward to, in my own walk and evolution, and to that point, I'm grateful for we've all had those moments where Saul becomes Paul, where we've had that, that moment where, Peter cried when he realized he denied Christ, but he got redeemed. You know what I'm saying? We're all on a journey of redemption. And I hope that in our own individual lives that we are loving deeper and harder and all the things, and doing our very best and staying on our own path, making sure that when we look in the mirror, we like us, that we are. And I brought that first lady up because one of the things that was in that clip is while she was saying that, the cameraman, God, I gotta laugh. The cameraman kept moving the camera to an older woman who apparently was also possibly a first lady. And she was swallowing so hard. I could tell that old church lady wanted to say something and she just swallowed her words. Because the truth is that two things was true, that there are a lot of people who really believe in those comments, who are really believing that church people should live and dress and eat and walk and talk and move a certain type of way. And that if we don't follow the template, that we're going to bust hell wide open. But the truth is so much of what we deem as holy is actually manipulation. And in that, if I've been subjugated to that, you should too. And I think that when I saw that older Black lady, church lady, swallowing hard as that woman was talking about, I'm a public service at church, but at home, it ain't none of y'all business what I got going on, is because she probably through her life had been subjugated to people diminishing her and forcing her to look and dress a certain way. So how dare you live in a freedom I didn't get a chance to enjoy?
Well, you here now. Ain't nothing you can do about the dry cement. But today is wet. So change. This is where, and we have to talk about this another time, Chris. This is why folk don't age gracefully and joyfully, because you still trying to hold on to an old ideal. And you said it best: manipulation. The first three letters of manipulation is man. So, again, I know what patriarchal talking points look like now. I know what the manipulation, it is always about control. And if we can judge people and keep them under this morality shroud, then we can control. That's why you have women moral shaming other women. It's like, the body count and all that kind of stuff.
Baby,
come on now.
Come on. Y'all don't want nobody around here counting bodies. Y'all don't want that to happen. So stop it.
So, right. So that the age, if you have been doing something a certain way, you can change. Now, you may not be able to wear an on your body dress.
Please don't. Please don't.
You ain't gotta stay with those catalog suits.
Jesus. I know it's time to go. This is what happens when you fool with people from Detroit. That's why Lex will be on
3-piece suits with the matching hat. Same color. You ain't, and if you really know somebody, you go to the milliner to put them studs and stuff in them. You ain't gotta stay there. You ain't gotta dress like that.
Oh God!
Her husband said he liked it.
And he said, no. He said he bought it.
I'm sorry, he bought it. So if he bought it, that meant he liked it, right? Okay,
baby. Some of y'all. Well, we just want to say in 2026, we love y'all. Thank you, Francyne. I think I'm officially back in the podcast game. It's been 2023 since I had a podcast. And I think I'm just going to relaunch them all. I had about 3 or 4 going at the time when we were in the pandemic in 2021. Baby, we had so many things going on. We were interviewing everybody. Child, y'all check out my YouTube channel. Matter of fact, I need to put this. Now, where am I going to put this? Oh my God. And I done relaunched it and I know I'm going to put it on YouTube. And I need to reactivate one of the podcast platforms so it can go around the world through wherever you can find podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you, Francyne.
Oh, you're welcome, girl.
Honey, I don't know. Look, I hope somebody
riled up.
What you said?
Then got me riled up with this BS. Oh, y'all, get away from me. I ain't never. It's still sexual pent upness too.
Now see, okay, can we end now? Francyne, you have shared with me that we haven't. Okay, I will say this: Francyne and I are both very youthful, and I think we're going to be forever youngs. However, we are embracing our auntie Bob or whatever that thing y'all, the millennials and Gen Z be saying, auntie, whatever. But you shared something that I think we would be good to close on. You mentioned, yes, there's a lot of sexual frustration. There's a lot of self-hatred that's going on within our Black communities, and people are not knowing how to navigate their emotions and the need, that the fact we need each other, for love and attention and affection. But you said there was a young lady at your job, and she was telling you about a young man and about the new dating paradigm. And I think this is how we're going to close the show.
Baby, I got you on that one. Yes.
So tell the story.
So essentially, my work daughter was telling me about a friend of hers who was talking to this guy. And I say talking because they had not gone on a date. And the reason they hadn't gone on a date yet, and probably never, that was the overplay for the underplay, is he said he doesn't pay for the first date.
And as her auntie, what did you say?
As her auntie, I said, well, the first date was a phone call. Now you go on the date. A minute. Pligga, what?
Wait. You said the first date is a what, Francyne?
Was the phone call to tell me that. What?
I say all that to say it's time for us to get back to those 3-hour phone calls where you fall asleep with the phone, waking up in the middle of the night, realizing now our phone battery would die. But my point is, the first date was the phone call. So now, gentlemen, the second date, we going somewhere. Okay.
Well, listen, I know a lot of folk like to say, well, you can't tell me nothing about that. Listen, a lot of y'all can't say y'all went on 2 dates in one day.
Oh. Now, see, we're gonna have to get out. Ooh, honey. Okay, when I tell you,
don't tell me what I don't know.
Baby, let me tell you. Okay, we've been there. We have done that, and we are now on the porch. Maybe not on the porch. I want to say we're on the veranda. No, we're on the veranda. We're not on the porch yet. We're on the veranda, honey, on the bistro stroll. And we are observing life from a distance, okay? But let me tell you, we have been there. We've done that, child, and we are good, honey. Trust.
Real good. Wait a minute. We're sitting on the veranda waiting on, listen, for him to come pick me up for the date that he gonna pay for.
So, ladies, if y'all out here with these gentlemen, and I'm using that word because I love to use that word, gentlemen, and he doesn't pay for the first date, then just let the first date be the phone call. All right, then. That's from your auntie Francyne.
And if that don't work, don't
next.
No more. Next.
Baby, what was our phrase?
Experiences. Dating is about experiences, creating experiences to see how we can gel with one another. It doesn't have to be a 5-star meal.
No, it does. Oh my God, we are definitely going to come back because we got to get saucy about some of those things that was going on during that war of the battle of the battle of the sexes, the war of the roses with black men and black women. Honey, will you please be my guest again?
I will, child.
All right, honey,
I love that. And the thing is, yes, because I don't like to talk about relationships from we're at each other's throats, but it's just about what you should expect and can have, like my mama say, like who like you, choose from that pool.
And with that being said, Dr. Karri has a man who likes her. Shout out to our pastor, our internet pastor, Dr. Jamal Bryant, honey, who will not only like his wife, will buy her the dress that he likes and will fight for her from the pulpit. Oh, but I thank God. All right. Love you, Francie. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Bye.
2026 is going to be on it.